All right, so if this was my pattern, and let's say this was the back of my collar, similar to something like this, just the back of the collar shape, and I'm wanting to do a turn and have padding and foam on the inside here. So I've just made a mock shape like this. I'm gonna cut my lining out, cut my upper out, and get those to match up. I'm just using double stick tape. You can use rubber cement or whatever else you want to use to hold it together while you stitch it. Okay, and then what we're also going to need to do, I guess we can put the foam in there in a second. Hold on one second. Let me grab some foam. It's fine, we'll just use this. And let's say we're gonna put some foam in there. So whatever our foam pattern is, we can trace that over. Now, I don't want my foam going all the way out to the edge. So I would probably knock this back like 5 mm, so it's a little bit smaller, so I can keep it out of the way. Okay, so let me get these to line up. Also, if you're at the building or you can hand skive, it makes it a lot easier if you're using leather or something thick that you hand skive this edge. Or run it on the skiving machine and thin out this edge so your turn is a lot better and cleaner. So when we have this here and here, our foam, just make this not look so jagged. Our foam would be in here, but we can push the foam in there afterwards. We don't have to put it on now. And where we stitch, so if you're using a skiving machine, right, I would skive this back a good 4 or 5 mil so you can easily turn this. And I'm gonna basically be stitching along this line back here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch this. Back tack it, start it, and go ahead and stitch it out. lock stitch it. Okay. All right. So now I've got these two stitched, and what we're going to want to do is flip this whole thing inside out. And I might trim this edge off. Let me see how it's going to act when I flip it over. If it gives me trouble, I will. So it's almost just like flipping a pillowcase inside out. You want to make sure you push these corners out. So you'll see that the corners are a little bit wrinkled up. You want to push them all the way out. And you can get something to stick inside of there and push it all the way out. But you have to make sure you get, if you want the corners to be nice and rounded, kind of flatten it out. Same thing over here. Push those corners all the way out. And the nicer you cut your corners nice and round, the better that these corners will be. Okay, so you can see that you're getting that nice rounded edge here around there. And then what you can also do is kind of hammer it out a little bit if it's still not exactly how you want it to be. You can just kind of lightly hammer this. Don't hammer it too hard because you might bust the stitches. And if that was my back piece or my collar piece and this was my lining, and that would be fine. And then I could then take my lining, my foam that I've already cut, pattern, and put it inside of here, push it as high up as I want it to be. And once you get that in place, I would just get a little rubber cement, put it here against the base, and then stick that together so it stays inside. So now you'd have like a padded collar here, and you can turn that seam out and get a nice edge along the top line of your shoe. All right, hope that helps.